teams. You got two of them in the top five, Alabama and Texas. Let's go to Texas. What have you noticed about them this year? Even though they made the playoffs, even though they've looked pretty good, is there a certain position group or anybody out there that you look at for Texas and say this could help them out in big ways next year?
Hmm. I mean, if anything, it would probably be their secondary. Uh, I mean, they have great offense and defensive lines. They have great. I mean, they have a great offense. Great wide receivers, great quarterback. I guess on offense, I would say tight ends, and then on the defense, I'd probably say the defensive backs. I mean, they got some great. They're just great all the way around. But whenever I look at Texas, and I think of things that they need help with, which the college football playoff is here, Washington versus Texas. I know you said on your preview video that it could be a high scoring game, and you're saying that because Texas's defense can be suspect at times. That's why you're saying that it could be a high scoring game. If Texas had some elite defense, you wouldn't be saying, well, this is going to be a high scoring game. You probably would say either Texas is going to blow them out or it's going to be a low scoring affair.
I fully agree with you, and I actually pulled up their class right quick. They have 3 5-stars in the class. One of them's an offensive tackle, but Xavier Phils Samey? I don't know how you say it. I don't want to butcher it. He's from McKinney High School in McKinney, Texas. Is a 5-star safety, second overall in his position, assuming right there behind KJ Bolden. 7th in the state of Texas, 32 nationally. Colin Simmons is a linebacker from Duncanville, Texas, is a 5-star linebacker, 5th in the state, 4th linebacker overall, nationally ranked number 20. Brandon Baker from Mater Dei, same high school as Bryce Young years ago. He's from California, offensive tackle, 5-star. It's amazing what they have for Texas. Overall, when you look at this, and by the way, this guy got picked up a few months ago, and I was able to review some film and everything on him. Jarrett Gibson is a good running back. Don't underestimate him just being a 4-star. He almost actually was a 5-star in some places. So overall, when you look at Texas, are they set up? Let me ask you this. Is this playoff appearance a one-time deal for Texas, or do you think with this recruiting that's going on, they could be set up for future success?
Well, let's just be
I'm not
honest.
asking you. Here's the trap. I know you think that I'm going to get you to say Texas is back, but let's be honest. Let's not call them back till they win a title. How about that? We put that
Well,
aside.
well, they did win the Big 12. So I would say that they're as back as they're ever going to get, right? But I was going to say that Texas had, let's just be honest, Texas has a lot of money, especially that oil money, right? So it's going to benefit teams in Texas, Louisiana, stuff like that, right? Your LSU's, Texas, of the world, right? So, with that being said, I do think Texas is going to be right there in the playoff mix. Being in the SEC, I am a SEC homer, so this might be a take that other people might not believe, but I mean they're gonna wake up in the SEC one day and they're gonna get hit in the mouth. I think they are the more ready team to come into the SEC as far as Texas and Oklahoma goes. But and I think they're going to be really good, really, really good. Actually, great. They're going to be a great football team. NIL is helping Texas out a tremendous amount. And with that being said, yeah, they're going to be right there in that college football playoff mix every year, year in and year out. Only thing is, how many SEC teams can you get into the playoffs? Because Georgia, LSU, Alabama, Ole Miss is up there. They came off of Ole Miss won 10 games 2 times in the last 3 years. So these other teams, they're coming. Missouri, they won 10 games this year. Missouri's not falling off. Missouri's doing really good in transfer portal and really good for Missouri standards in recruiting as well. So with that being said, you got to find ways to knock off, the Missouris and Ole Misses of the world so you can get to the LSU's, Alabamas, and Georgias of the world, and Tennessee. Don't forget about Tennessee. Tennessee is right there in the mix too. They had a 10-win season not too long ago. Can't forget about them. So it's going to be a gauntlet. I mean, they come and they play Michigan next year on their schedule. So out of conference, and then they got to go through the SEC gauntlet. They got to play Georgia as well. So, I mean, with that being said, yeah, I do think Texas can make the playoffs again in a 12-team scenario, but how many teams can the SEC get in the 12-team playoff? That'll be the better
You look
question.
at how they're dominating recruiting right now. I mean, brought in Arch Manning last year, and yeah, they've lost Malik Murphy to the transfer portal, but they bring in that Andrew Mabuka or from Clemson. I mean, they're even dominating in the portal right now. They're getting ready. They're setting up Stone to go and try, at least try to dominate the SEC. And I'm sure that even though there were a lot of people and they're still upset about this conference realignment, listen to me when I say that 5-10 years down the road from next year, when Texas and OU go to the SEC, we'll be looking at a team like Texas and saying, you know what, they belong here. Would you agree?
Yeah, I definitely think Texas belongs in the SEC. Old school football fans, they're going to say they always belong in the Big 12, but I think Texas can compete in the SEC. I really do. I really do believe Texas can compete in the SEC year in and year out. And I think Oklahoma can too. I know I keep on going to Oklahoma, but they're the two that's coming in from the Big 12. But I do think Texas is going to be more prepared to come into the SEC rather than Oklahoma. That might be a hot take. I don't really think it's that hot of a take. I think most people would agree with me, except for Oklahoma fans, obviously. But yeah, I think Texas, NIL was a Christmas present for them. NIL oil money down there. You can't get no more rich than that. And it's we talk about oil money. Texas A&M. That's another team I forgot to mention. They're going to be playing Texas. I'm assuming year in and year out. They play next year on rivalry week, so that's going to be a matchup to look forward to every single year. I don't think Texas wins that game every single year. I think Texas A&M, can beat them every other year or every 2 years or whatever it is. So everybody says that everybody says that Texas has an easier schedule in the SEC, but whenever you look at it, they have to play Michigan, they have to play Georgia, they have to play Texas A&M. They got they got a hard schedule, and I think people non-SEC fans that hate the SEC will say the SEC is just not the same what it used to be. But I mean, I think it's getting better. I think it's getting better. Georgia, LSU, Alabama,